CNN has exclusively been given a secret recording between Donald Trump and his lawyer that appears to confirm that President Trump knew about plans to squash a story about his alleged affair with a former Playboy model, Karen McDougal. Here it is.
I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David, so that I'm going to do that right away. I've actually come up and I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with
So what are we going to pay?
funding. Yes, and it's all the stuff. All the stuff, because you never know where that company, you never know where he's going to be.
Gets hit by it.
Correct. So I'm all over that, and I spoke to Alan about it when it comes time for the financing, which will be.
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So
Don't pay the kid.
no. I got no. Hey, no. How are you?
Here are the facts. Karen McDougal was paid $150,000 by the owner of the National Enquirer for her story, and that story was never published. Joining us now is Stu Zakum. He's the former senior vice president of corporate communications at American Media, Inc. That is relevant because he knows what goes on behind the scenes at the National Enquirer. Stu, it is great to have you here.
Thank you for having me back.
To peel back the curtain for us this morning to explain all of this that we've just heard. When you listen to that recording between Michael Cohen and Donald Trump, what do you hear?
I hear that they want to take care of a problem that exists, and by getting it out of the public eye. So they know that the deal's been made with AMI to buy out her story, and it seems that they're willing to try and reimburse them for the payment they made to her.
Because they need to squash it. So it's called catch and kill.
Well,
you get the story, you get a really juicy story, an incriminating story of some kind, and then you pay to never run it.
Absolutely.
Would the National Enquirer have accepted cash?
I don't think that would have happened.
You think a check had to be cut?
Well, I think a check wouldn't have been cut either because there's a paper trail, clearly, when there's a check.
So then how would that payment have been made?
I don't think the payment was ever made. And in reality, the Pecker would take care of Trump. You got to understand the basis of the relationship that the two of the guys have.
Right, but not for free. He wouldn't.
Well, no, because it's how the Enquirer has always done business. They are known for paying for sources. So the fact that she had the story they wanted to catch, and whether they killed her or not is not the issue. They took it off the marketplace. So the story would have no life. I believe, once again, I don't work there any longer and not on the inside of this story, but based on normal operations, I don't think they would have accepted that kind of payment.
Why?
What they got out of it was notoriety. What they got out of it was a story that, if published, could make them more money on the newsstand.
Right, but we know that Michael Cohen did make the payment. I mean, we know that he has said that he did make the payment, that he paid it out of his own pocket. So obviously he did pay somebody.
That was Stormy. You're mixing up.
Oh,
you're
good
talking
point.
about Stormy.
Okay, so, but same thing, right?
Amazing how we know these people by first names, huh?
Yes, but what you hear on this tape is a negotiation for $150,000. So if they're not paying the National Enquirer, what's your
Well, once
theory?
again, I think, number one, it was an impulsive reaction by Trump, which we know he does. What am I going to do? Let me just pay and make it disappear. But I think because, once again, the relationship that he and David Pecker have, that transaction wouldn't have happened. There's enough of a give and take and win-win for both of them when they work collaboratively. I don't think the payment would have been necessary.
You don't think that David Pecker needed to be paid by Trump? Because, again, what's in it for him?
What's in it for him? Because of his relationship with Donald Trump, David Pecker is now one of the most important media people in this country, in the world, actually. So he, alongside of Rupert Murdoch, are now working to advance Trump's agenda. So that's what's in it for him, because when he does that, he has access that no other media property has. He sells out in the newsstands, gets more eyeballs to his website, and they sell more ads.
Can you explain their relationship? What is the relationship between David Pecker and Donald Trump, and how did it start? It
started in the 80s in New York City. I mean, magazines ruled the world. We've discussed this before, and they were gods. And David Pecker ran a publishing company called Hachette. And they ran a bunch of magazines, but the one that probably got Trump's attention was when he launched George with JFK Jr. Here he was, maybe this should be for me. Look what's happening. And so I believe there was a lot of courtship. And you got to remember what the 80s and 90s
Donald Trump courting David
Sure,
Pecker.
Because for anybody, in that time he was a businessman, not a politician, you want to have an alignment with a media head so that, once again, your side of the story, you get what you want out there. And it's a real win-win for both of them.
Tell me what's going on inside the offices of the National Enquirer or AMI Media this morning in the conference room with David Pecker and his lieutenants. What are they planning to do about this tape?
Well, I would imagine that they are coming up with cover story ideas for the various tabs that they publish. Now, you understand the portfolio of magazines and websites that are under the AMI umbrella. You imagine a newsstand. If you see the Enquirer, Star, OK, Us, Life and Style.
They publish all of those.
All of these with an image.
And what is that image going to be now?
It will be something not pleasant and probably a nice headline that will grab your attention.
Hold on. When you say not pleasant, it will be an attack on Michael Cohen.
It will be an attack.
On Michael Cohen.
Sure, and to take care of his credibility, to eradicate his credibility to the base that read AMI's publications. And so imagine, once again, you're walking by a newsstand at an airport or a train station. Every magazine you see has his image with some kind of headline. People don't have to pick up the magazine. That impression is made.
Because remember, this already did happen. The National Enquirer did put Michael Cohen's face next to Donald Trump's, and it says Secrets and Lies. And how did that magazine sell?
It sold out. So, once again, they all won.
Can anybody do this? Can anybody have this policy with the National Enquirer? Can Charlie Sheen or Lindsay Lohan pay enough money to David Pecker and squash a story?
It's not those, it's who his friends are. So once again, when you own a media property, you own it for a couple of reasons. You want to make some money, but you want to control and influence public opinion, and you want to take care of your friends. So if I hear something bad about someone I know, and once again, I have access to all these things that will influence how people think, you betcha I'm going to take care of my friends.
Well, Stu Zakem, you have raised many interesting points. So it sounds like you believe we need to hear another recording after that one to see if, in fact, the transaction ever actually went through.
That would make sense.
Stu, thank you very
Thank you
much for helping to peel back the curtain on how it works there.